Well, let's just say we switch gear this week with the home stretch, right? Stress and wellness. It used to be health. Well, it is health and wellness actually, but hey, stress and wellness.
Because there's good stress. Shebi?
They say.
No. They say there's good stress. Because I thought, how can stress be wellness? You can't be well and be stressed. But I was corrected by those.
You haven't even heard the half of it, not even the 10th of it.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay.
They say stress is part of life.
And they say that stress is good. You know, all those things I can't really understand. But we go ask them.
So let's just get into it. Our guest this morning is Chris Ero, who is team lead at the Wellness Boss, which is a wellness consultancy service, a trained holistic wellness coach with the International Association of Wellness Practitioners, and a member of Life Coaches Association of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you dare tell us?
I was listening to the debate.
You dare tell us that stress is good?
Yeah, I double dare.
I gives up.
Please explain yourself. One, because what you hear is, don't stress me.
Exactly.
Don't give me stress.
Stress. If stress were such a good thing,
I would take
why
it.
are people always saying, don't stress me, don't give me stress?
You know, it's a perception that we have built with stress over the years. You know, we've linked stress with everything negative. You know, I keep telling people that if you do not build a beautiful relationship with something, it's going to work against you. And then when you think about it, it becomes synonymous with the negative.
Build a beautiful relationship with stress.
Yes, you can.
You know
why?
The way she's talking like that, Alero, the way she's talking, it sounds like you're building the one white halo over stress.
I'm saying.
You know, the thing is, as humans generally, the natural inclination for us is not to take responsibility for actions, you know, is to blame something else, or something else has to be responsible for what it is that we're going through. So we're not seeing that the role that we play in it is as crucial as the environment within which we find ourselves. Now, let's start from the very beginning. What is stress? Stress is basically our response to stimuli, internal or external, right? And it basically means when demand exceeds supply. So you get to a position,
again, huh?
Yes, you get to a position of stress. Now, when I say building a relationship with it is, it's
please
part
say
of
it better.
life.
Building a relationship with stress, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Say it yourself. Don't quote me.
No, but you have to, because if you don't, the perception that you have regarding stress would actually come back and, you know, negate every other thing that you're doing regarding stress. Stress is a unique gift that we have not been able to really gain the benefit of because of the perception that we have that it's negative. Now, what stress is our defender. Stress is our protector. Stress warns us. Stress keeps us safe. That is the intent of stress. So when I tell people that things like stress reduction is a myth, right? It's something that you keep chasing and you never get there because it's something you can never reduce. There are different types of stress that you're going to experience.
Okay, wait. Today, go understand this matter. What are the signs of stress? When someone is stressed, okay, when people say, I'm stressed, what are the things that you would expect the person is feeling?
So it depends on the individual. There are different responses to stress. Now, for me, a sign of stress could be sweating, or it could be a sudden urge to go to the bathroom, or it could be an itch, you know, that I need to, you know, scratch, or it could be butterflies in my tummy. For some people, it could be a headache. Now, when it gets to the point where it begins to affect you, that means you have allowed cortisol to remain for far too long within
Madam,
your system.
Please, calm down, calm down. You are taking this thing too far.
I'm trying to make it as simple as I can.
Which one? How cortisol enter this matter now?
Yeah, because when you're stressed, the hormone that actually indicates that you're stressed is cortisol. So it released in your system.
Now, there's some things you said, and I would like for people to follow the conversation.
Yes.
You began by saying stress is not all bad.
Stress is not bad.
Not bad at all.
Yes. We are the ones that determine when it's bad. We make it bad.
How do we do that?
Now, when you don't understand stress, when you don't understand the reason and the purpose for your stress, and when you do not understand your reaction to the stress, you find that it's difficult for you to read the signs or the signals that stress is giving you. That's where I was going to, where I was talking about is your protector and your defender. What stress basically does is gives you signals to tell you when to run or when to stay and fight. For a lot of us, we mix up the information. So when we're supposed to run, we are not running, we are staying to fight. But at that point, that is not what we need to do. And there are times that you need to actually stay and fight, but we are not, we are running away. So it's that whole mix. Then what the message you're not sending to your body, to your brain, is that you're still in that stressful position. So you're still in that stressful position, more cortisol is released. And the more cortisol is released, the more it begins to affect you. Then it becomes...
Affect the health.
Yes. It becomes negative. It becomes chronic stress.
Chris, take a child. She's just done her SSE.
Okay.
And she's going for her results.
Okay.
She's apprehensive. Could that be described as a stress situation?
When you're apprehensive about something, you have anxiety. Yes, it is.
Okay, so she's going to receive her results. And that's bad stress, right? Or is it good stress?
It's just stress.
It's just stress?
Yes.
Okay. She gets the result and she has failed. And she's heading back home to go and present that rubbish to mom and dad. Where is she at that point?
She's stressed. Now, when she allows...
We're not describing the kind of stress yet.
She is just stressed.
Okay.
At that point, she's thinking of how do I pass this information to my parents? How do I let my parents know this is what has happened, right? Now, there are two ways that she can do that. She can either decide to break down and she goes into a depressive mode. At that point, she's releasing more cortisol. She's gotten to that point where she's depressed. It has gotten chronic because of her response and her reaction to the stress. But in another way, she can look at it like, okay, well, I failed, but doesn't make me that. So I can go to my parents and explain to my parents, this is what happened. It actually builds resilience in the child. So she then knows, okay, yeah, I mean, it doesn't define me. And then she takes responsibility for the role that she played in it. Instead of victimizing herself and making herself feel like a failure, you know. So that's why I tell people that a lot of people who you see are successful, right? Those ones inadvertently understand the code to stress, and that is mastering it.
Okay, you will teach us to
master stress.
Yes. So you will teach us to master it in this scenario. Shebi, she gave you that of an SSC student. Take a single mother who is working, has a job, has a difficult boss, underpaid, lives far from home, overworked, underpaid, has to go to work at so time to meet a difficult boss, and the landlord is calling.
Okay, now I'm trying to... All these scenarios, one human being.
One human being.
All these scenarios, one human being. And hey, that's probably just a start for someone. In the village, their house has just been flooded.
Washed away.
Okay, you know, all these things don't happen in isolation. There's actually a process. Something leads to something. So what you need to do in that situation, if you want to help her master her stress, is basically ask her very fundamental questions. This job you're doing, do you need the job? Number one. Do you have another skill that you can work on? Now, if you do need the job and your boss is like is a chronic boss, like a toxic boss, right? You have to be able to position your mind in a way that, okay, you're there for the work, you're there for the income, you're not there for your boss. You cannot control what your boss does to you. You cannot control what your boss says to you, but you can control how you react to your boss. We've had people who are in the same scenario, but they respond differently. And that's because of the nurturing they've given themselves over the years. Some have been able to build that resilience. I mean, they really, like, they don't care. You can say anything you want. I'm focused on what it is I'm doing here. So when you're at that focused, you are not thinking about people victimizing you or blaming you, or you're not thinking about that. Your whole mentality is more productive that way. And it's more productive. You're thinking more of solutions. You're not thinking of excuses. You're not thinking of problems. So when the solutions do come, you are more clear-minded. More clear-minded, then you know how best to act. Because I can't remember all the other scenarios you mentioned. You said she's a single mom, and then so many other things, and then the flooding as well, right, in the village. One thing we tell people is we worry over things we have no business worrying over. That's one of the issues that we have. I had to learn it the hard way myself. We worry over things we have absolutely no business worrying over. As in, you have to be able to determine what do you have control over. If you can deal with it, then why worry? Just deal with it. If you can't deal with it, still, why worry? Let it be. You know, we have to get ourselves to the point where we understand that life is life. Things are going to get thrown at you, but you need to be able to build yourself up from within.
Now, in terms of building yourself from within, how do people get out of that melee? That's one of the challenges that you know, people have to. For instance, I mean, you talked about the signs of stress the other time. You talked about yours. There are those who have changes in their body, tense muscles, rapid breathing, heart rate, which is going cardio. You mentioned that when we spoke yesterday. Headaches, difficulty sleeping, fatigue, changes in sex drive, affects the marriage, affects other relationships and all of that. Someone is, maybe the person is supposed to be at 0. Now the person is at, well, the average is 0. The person ought to be at a 10. The person is at a -10. How does that person work herself back from -10 all the way back to 0 before starting to think about getting up to 10?
Okay, one of the things that we do is apply the 3-step formula to stress mastery, and I usually like to add a 4th step. So the 3-step formula, you have to learn to assess. You assess your situation, assess the contribution, the role that you play in it, and then you look at how it affects you. You're assessing it. Then appreciation is the 2nd step. And appreciation, you see, okay, what have I gained from this? What is it teaching me? Because whether it's good or bad, every experience that you go through teaches you something. So what stress mastery actually does is help you to be in the present and really understand what is going on instead of being reactionary. You know, a lot of us are very reactionary. Something just happens, we just blow up emotionally, and then we are, you know, doing stuff like that. So by the time you appreciate what the stress is doing in your life, and you look at it on a 360 degrees position viewpoint, where you look at everything, the good and the bad, and then after that you then adjust. You adjust yourself accordingly to the things that you have learned in your assessment and your appreciation. And by the time you adjust, you then assimilate. You now let it become a part of you. And I'm going to break it down. Okay. I want to use the example that she gave, the girl who messed up in her exams, right? So by the time she starts to assess it, okay, why am I stressed about my exams? What did I do? Did I read when I ought to have read? All right, then why am I reacting to it the way I'm reacting to it? Is it because of my parents? Do my parents think that I am not worthy of being a daughter if I do not pass my exams? Or do I think I myself am not worthy, right? So that's just an example. And then I want to appreciate, now what is this situation teaching me? What is it telling me? What are the things I could have done? And then I look at it, I'm going, instead of reading two times a week, maybe I should have read 10 times a week. Maybe I should have, or maybe, you know, you break it down. And then when the time you now want to adjust, you then adjust yourself accordingly. If you could only make out 5 hours a day for studying, you find out, why was it 5 hours? What else can I shift to make more time for me so that I can adjust my study time, so that I can do better in the next exams? Then by the time you do that adjustment, you begin to assimilate it to the point that it becomes a habit, it becomes part of you. You then find that it's just second nature for you to just get up and do what you need to do.
Now, you've talked about what the person can handle, the space that the individual can control. But you would also agree with me that a lot of the pressure comes from external forces, the environment. You talked about the parents. In the event that the parent says, look, if you don't pass, this is going to happen, or that is going to happen, or if you don't give me this report within such regulated time, I'm not going to sign your annual performance and evaluation report, and consequently you could be demoted at the office, or your salary removed, or you could be sacked from work. All of that pressure, and you know, sometimes these things happen in torrents.
Yeah, they do.
So people can't even have time to adjust, to appreciate, or to what you do, assess, and all of those things. There, while one is happening, you are trying to adjust to it, another one is coming altogether. So how do you prepare? Because it sounds like you have to anticipate
but you do.
that some of these things are going to happen. So how do you adjust to a difficult situation and anticipate worse at the same time?
Just by focusing on yourself. Again, it's the same thing. Your father has given you an ultimatum. Then you determine, how am I going to approach that ultimatum? Sometimes what we do is, we already know that a situation is going to happen, but we don't prepare for it. Wait for it to happen, and then it overwhelms us. All right? So we are saying that even in life, even in the things you do not know are coming, right, you have to prepare yourself for the eventuality of it all, because life in itself is uncertain. And that's why I talk about stress reduction is a myth, because if you're talking about stress reduction, what stress are you reducing? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. We just talked about the uncertainty of it all. What stress are you reducing? For some people, it's stressful for them to be caught in traffic. For some people, being here on this stage right now is extremely stressful.
Some people even get panic attacks in traffic.
Exactly. For some, thinking about what to eat in the morning is extremely stressful. Now, for some, there are other kinds of stress that would come their way that they will not even know would come their way. So what we are saying is, we are not taking the stress in single bits. We are saying stress is going to come, life is stressful. But then you can determine how stress deals
with you,
just by how you relate with it. And it's your mindset.
Are people aware? Because, I mean, you mentioned, you know, some complications that could come as a result of stress that is not well managed.
Yeah. You know, the thing, and that's the issue, right? You know, they say the beautiful thing about life is change. But not everybody is welcome to change. It's a scary concept for a lot of people. And for a long time, we have been so used to the terminology stress management, right? Hey, I'm taking a stress management class. We're having a stress management facilitation. And that in itself, not that it's wrong, but it's wrong in the sense that it is based on the wrong notion of stress, that stress is bad. When you see something as bad, when you see something as negative, you don't want it in your life. You're going to try everything possible to get rid of it. You want to try everything possible to avoid it. And in the process of doing that, what happens, especially when you see it not being avoided, when you see that it's not reducing, you become more anxious, you become more frustrated, and the stress increases. And then you find that you continually keep doing these stress management techniques, but you're seeing no results. But on the other hand, what Stress Mastery is saying is, you are not the victim. You are actually the one in charge. Stress is a tool, if you understand it, if you know how to use it. Stress is a tool for you that you can use for your benefit, to thrive, actually. So when we see people, I know it's a difficult concept because we are not used to it.
It's like saying malaria is a tool.
Well, when I stumbled on Stress Mastery, it opened my eyes. Because I came from a situation where I had a health, I don't know if you remember, I had a health issue, right? And I went into a coma. I had amnesia for 2 years. So when I came out of it, and I was like doing a look back into my life, trying to remember or trying to understand what brought me here, I realized that my lifestyle was whacked. It was up and down. So stress was a pivotal aspect of my life then. And I tried hard because I didn't want to go back to that situation. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to focus on stress. I'm going to like manage my stress. So I was doing a lot of studying on stress management. I was doing these techniques. I was learning so many tools, but there was no difference. I found that I was constantly, the thing I thought I was dealing with was actually exploding in my very...
Dealing with you?
Yeah, it was dealing with me. Thank you, you know. So I was worried, and then it caused me to study more. What am I not doing right? What am I doing wrong? And then I stumbled on this lady, Dr. Heidi Hanna, and she's one of the front runners of Stress Mastery. And then I studied what it is that she's doing, and I was like, yes, this is it. This is the secret that we've all been chasing that we didn't know we were chasing. Because we've been looking at stress as bad. We've been painting ourselves as victims. So stress that's supposed to help you, that's supposed to lift you up, protect you, defend you, keep you safe, and keep you healthy in your mind and in your body, we are rejecting it. So it's like we're in a constant battle with stress. Stress is trying to help you, but you're fighting it, and stress is wondering, why are you doing this? But with Stress Mastery, stress now realizes that, this person understands why I'm here. This person is using me rightly. And then this person is actually using the stress rightly because the person has built himself, developed himself to understand the signs of stress and why he reacts that way and what the stress does to him in the process.
So how do people begin to take this? Because you see, weak immune system is a reality for people who are not, as you said, mastering, stress. People who are stressed, chronic stress and all of those things. By the way, are there different types of stress?
Oh yeah, chronic stress is when you have allowed stress to fester for too long, that it becomes bad. We say that anything good, when you abuse it, works against you. That's the same thing with stress. That's just it. So it gets to that position, and by the time it gets to that position, it's actually your body has been trying to warn you, giving you signals. There's something we say, if you don't respect stress, stress humbles you.
Okay. So
it brings you down so that you begin to take charge and take note of your body and take care of it better.
What are the initial steps people need to take to master stress?
Understand self. You have to know yourself and understand yourself. Who are you? Who are you really? It sounds like a cliche. It sounds like something that people will just say.
I'm a businessman chasing money.
No, we're not.
And if I don't get the money or get the contract, there's going to be a problem.
No, but outside all that, is that really you? When you are alone in your thoughts, who are you? What controls you? What makes you successful? What makes you idle? You get? So by the time you think about that.
Yeah. The reason I'm saying that, because perhaps also is the environment. I spoke about the influence of the environment the other time. We can't take anyone away from the environment, can we?
No, you can't.
Perhaps that's where the challenge is, because people are always going to find themselves in stressful environments. How do you separate yourself from an environment that you can't separate yourself from?
There's something we say about, especially with this current rage of the Japa movement, where we tell people that if you're a lizard in Nigeria, you can't be an alligator wherever you're going.
Well, not with genetic mutilation.
You know what I mean? Because it's your mindset that drives everything that you do. People who are driven by a certain code of conduct, regardless of wherever they find themselves, they would stay true to themselves. But people who are not sure or certain of who they are, you find those are the ones that are always seeking validation elsewhere. They really don't know what they want, so they are not able to set boundaries for themselves. So anything goes, really. So those are the ones that are easily taken advantage of. Those are the ones that give up easily. Those are the ones that go like, hey, I can't do this. Those are the ones that see themselves as... And when we're talking about giving up and seeing yourself as a failure, it's not necessarily about doing well in business or doing well in, because you can fail in those things. People do fail in those things. You can fail in your marriage, you can fail in your business, you can fail in school. But then, are those the things that make you? Because we say that failure does not define you, it is how you get up that defines you. So that is what we are looking at. We've already accepted that failure is part of life. But what then happens when you do fail? Are you the one that when you fail, you curl up on your bed and you shut...
And have a pity party?
Do you get? Or are you the one that sees it as, ooh, this is another opportunity for me to try it another way? You see the difference?
Get up and go.
Exactly.
Okay.
Get up and go.
At this juncture, you know, those critical questions perhaps need to be asked by the individuals themselves, because unless those questions are asked, I mean, we only beating around the bush, so, you know, as they say.
So really, each person reacts differently to stress.
Exactly.
So when you say what might be good stress to you might be bad stress to me, what might be good to me might be bad for you, depending on how I react. The two of us can be in the same situation now. You will react one way, I will react another. That's what we're saying, isn't it?
Yes. And again,
it all depends on who you are.
On who you are. And I like what I want to bring what he said regarding environment and your nurturing. Let's take it back to childhood. One of the things we try to tell parents now is try to teach your kids life coping skills so that they are more resilient when they get older, right? So you have a child, or you have two kids who were brought up in fairly influential homes, right? And then maybe the two of them now get stuck in a terrible financial situation. You find that one is unable to cope, cannot imagine himself without money. He's never been without money. So without money, he's nothing. His life is nothing. But the other person was brought up in a way to see money as a tool, not as a definer of life. So the money is not there. It doesn't really bother because she already is secured.
Life goes on.
Exactly. So in that situation, yeah, the stress is not in itself bad. But because of the other person's reaction, exactly, that makes it bad.
Well, again,
it's making sense.
Would say this is another conversation starter. Why do we always have conversation starters? Chris Ero, team lead, the Wellness Boss, Wellness Consultancy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
this illumination this morning.